You've done the work, you've read the books, been in therapy, may even built a whole language around your healing. You can name the wound, you can trace it back, you can understand intellectually where it came from. And yet, there's still something that won't move. The tension in your chest when someone raises their voice, the way your stomach drops in a familiar situation, the exhaustion that lives somewhere deeper than sleep can reach. That's not failure of insight. That's your body still holding what your mind has already processed. Today we're going to talk about somatic healing, what it is, why the body stores what the mind tries to release, and how you can actually begin to discharge what's been living in your nervous system, sometimes for years. My name is Michael Perry, and I'm joined today by Justin Gates.
Hello there.
This is the new Ashla Podcast. Hello and welcome to the new Ashla Podcast. Today we're diving into somatic healing. Now, this is something I'm sure a lot of you have heard. Some of you might know what it is. And I think it's one of the most pivotal things people can start integrating into their healing practices because, you know, the body keeps the score. We have so much stored up inside of us from past experiences, and it just needs a release. I remember reading about geese and how it's like, and deer even, when they're when they feel threatened, when they're being chased by that lion, they escape it, and then they just shake violently. But after they do, they go back to grazing like nothing ever happened.
Right.
They have a release. They discharge the stress, the anxiety, the fear. They release it from their body so they can keep doing them.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if we should be, shaking it off like that. They do it very violently. It's weird. It's kind of looks painful, huh? We can't really do that without breaking our necks or something. But yeah, this is very much inside an integration. We know we create all these systems and all these languages and all this stuff, but we haven't integrated because the body, as you said, holds on, right? Our mind understands it, and our mind can, because then our mind justifies it and does all these things because our body still doesn't let it go. So we can say it this way: this is a matter of integrity, because healing isn't only a matter of thought. We have to integrate our body and our heart, right? So we have to bring balance back to the whole being. Thought, emotion, spirit, breath, memory, all these things. You have to come back into relationship with each other, with us. So, if you've ever wondered why you can understand the pain and you can articulate it and all these things, but still feel trapped in the same reactions, then this conversation is going to be for you. Because what's likely happening here, Michael, is that your body's not releasing. And it's not that it's resisting healing. It's waiting to feel safe enough to complete it, right?
Yeah. You see somatic workshops online, and I'll warn you, a lot of those are kind of extreme. You see people screaming. They do shake violently in a lot of those.
Are those the ones where people are laying down, they have the headphones on, and they're just like freaking out sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about doing that. I just wanted to point that out to show a little bit of distinction, because that is some good somatic practice.
That sounds like the geese thing, man. I mean, if it works,
yeah.
Right?
But there's daily practices you can incorporate that can really benefit you. Because, like you said, this stuff just stores in the body. It needs a discharge. It needs a place to go. Yeah. Energy cannot dissipate on its own. It has to go somewhere. It has to become something. Right. And that's a lot of what this work is. That's one of the reasons why the gym is considered as good as therapy, right?
Mm-hmm. It is a good, yeah. And you're describing the problem to us right here. All this stuff is stored up, and metaphysically, we call that energy, right? And it's not great energy, but it's energy, right? And we're talking about how just thinking about it or knowing about it does not create that kind of release. The gym is a good example, because you get to physically release energy, right? It's a good one. And, it's a place where we generally can feel safe enough to do it, because exercise has all these other benefits. So we go, okay, we talk ourselves into doing it, right?
Yeah. Well, trauma and chronic stress, it's not just a psychological thing. It's a physiological thing, too. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of us don't really realize that. The nervous system It's encoding unresolved experiences, and it creates tension in the body, posture, automatic responses. This energy gets touched, and then it either lights up, whether that's to get angry or to run. It's this hypervigilance that comes online when we know we're safe, years after an event happens. It's the missing part of a lot of people's processing. And there are so many ways we can go about discharging this. I remember that was a key thing as I was working through my healing, is I had to create these spaces where I could scream in the car while I was driving or listening to angry music and just go with it,
Right. Because our body encodes things much differently than our mind does. Much different than our spirit does. Right? These unresolved experiences get encoded into our body as sensations, but also tension. And you can see it in our posture and how we automatically reflex and react to everything. The body remembers in ways the mind does not always speak about or even understand. Right? Just for example, if you're always told to swallow your anger or suppress your anger or suppress your fear, right? Unexpressed grief is probably a big one here.
Yeah.
Right? Because we don't grieve enough things. And I know that makes me, Justin, you're making us sound like sissies here. No, there's lots of things in our lives that we should be grieving, not just dead things, not just dead people. There's lots and lots and lots of reasons to grieve so that we don't build up this chamber of death and hypertension that's going to kill us someday. Right?
Yeah. Relationships. Workplaces, when we leave a workplace where there's people we love, even if we hated the workplace itself.
Right. Yeah. So, and the path of Ashla teaches us never to suppress anything. We must express. We must face things with the light of truth, right? That means talking about them. That means calling them out. That means experiencing them, sitting with them, because that's how we get to harmony. Not just understanding things, but actually creating peace in our body, and not just spiritual insight, but actual safety, embodied safety, right? Not just knowing the wound, but helping our whole being come out of it and return back to authenticity. Your body is not the enemy here. Your body is not resisting the healing. It's just showing us where we need to create space for it to do that.
I think one of the most dangerous areas is a lot of people, and I was guilty of this too, is not being honest about what we feel. When we go through things, being honest with ourselves, even if we don't express it to other people, saying that was hard. I always had that toxic positivity where I'd always keep my head above the clouds. Like, that wasn't that bad. People have it worse than me. And when we minimize the things we go through, they compartmentalize that much more in our bodies. They store in a way that's much harder to access.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Your body is a faithful servant to you. It loves you beyond all measure. It loves you beyond yourself or itself, right? It has been faithful to you. It's not broken. It carried what you could not carry mentally in a lot of ways. So the somatic work is not about fixing something wrong. It's about giving your body enough space and your full presence to finally complete what was never completed, or maybe not even started in some cases. Right? It may be waiting for permission from you to release this stuff. And I think this is where a lot of people get frustrated, Michael. They can explain the wound perfectly, but their body still reacts. Right? Yep. And, a lot of them will take the insight and just assume that understanding should automatically fix everything. Does it?
No. I mean, I look at it like this pressure release valve that even when you start doing somatic work, all you're doing is finding a deeper channel to release things. But even then, you're not going to go have one trimmering, yelling session and be all better. This is something where you got to discharge the energy bit by bit. I remember talking to my wife about this a while back, and she said it perfectly. One of the reasons our bodies does this, that we've learned these systems, is we don't have the mental capacity to handle so much emotion at once. But when we turn that valve off, it starts building up like a dam. And somatics is something you can utilize to start getting some of the water out of there, to let water flow through the dam, even if it's bit by bit.
So how does this show up? How does this show up in our body, in our lives?
Oh, gosh. I know for me, because it's different for each of us. I like to think of it as the chakras, because the chakras are different areas in our nervous system that stores a lot of this stuff. And for me, it's my heart. You know, rapid heart rate often, high blood pressure. It can also show up as back pain. It can show up as a very tense back. Mm-hmm. It could show up as gut health issues. It can show up as a sore throat. You know, I think back to when we had, what was his name? Who was talking about being able to hear our voices and be able to...
Yeah, Deepak.
Yeah, Deepak.
Deepak Chari, yeah.
Yeah, our voices carry, you know,
We need to
sometimes
get him
people are
back on
soft-spoken.
and have him talk about somatic healing too. What he
Yeah.
thinks. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can hear it in our voices. The level of stored energy that's in there and what areas store the most. Like, I'm not going to go too far into the spectrum of emotions and how that goes about, but it's just, it can show up throughout headaches.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it always kind of showed up as me being hypervigilant. Right? I would startle easy. Like, I would be so hyper focused on something, somebody would walk in a room and scare the ever loving crap out of me, dude. Right? I'm always scanning the room. I'm always reading tones. I'm always reading, body language. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, really. Right? That's how it showed up for me. And a lot of times I didn't even know I was doing it, Heather would say, "Oh, I see you're out in outer space again." I was not out in outer space. I was calculating the likelihood that this person in front of me started some crap. And I'd already had 100 scenarios of me dealing with it, right? So that I could just go into action. And really what this is that our bodies learn that safety cannot be assumed. And, a lot of soldiers get this way. A lot of first responders get this way. A lot of security people, a lot of people whose job it is to scan for danger and react to danger or dangerous situations. This develops within them, and you could say, "Oh, well, that's good." It's not good when I'm sitting at home doing it, right? It's just something that happens. So that's another way.
It's kind of living life on edge, which I think a lot of people do. Society has shifted from, I was thinking about this while I was going to bed last night, how society has truly shifted from this state of abundance and receptivity to scarcity and hypervigilance. And a lot of different things play into that, the economy, political tension, stuff like that. But it's this shift we have where now everyone's on edge and much more guarded and much more reserved. Or the opposite. And a lot of this tension we go through, a lot of this stress, this trauma, it can manifest as emotional numbness. Or the opposite, extreme volatility. And it's this energy not knowing how to escape or how to transmute.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it shows up as these weird phantom, out of the blue physical diseases sometimes, or problems, right? That don't have any kind of obvious explanation. Digestive problems is a big one. Blood pressure, headaches, just inflammation. Being tired and exhausted to the point where sleep doesn't even help. You just wake up as tired as you did when you went to sleep. Now, of course, always work with medical professionals and rule out any kind of medical causes. This is not
a we are no medical professionals.
This is not a diagnosis, but sometimes this is how this stuff shows up. So, yeah.
No, there's crazy research coming out. Gabor Mate, I love his work. He is a fascinating doctor. And one of the things he discovered is like women in abusive relationships, the ones who stand their ground, express their needs, express anger, compared to the ones who bottled it up, the ones who bottled up were 10 times more likely to develop breast cancer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. That makes perfect sense to me. And through Ashla, for us, this is a lesson in deeper listening. We must learn to listen better. Learn to listen more completely, right? Because the body is part of that inner temple that I talked about in a previous show. It's not separate from our path. Body's a part of that. It's not lower or higher than any other part, right? It's not any less sacred than any other part. If the body's holding grief and fear and anger and vigilance, that must be brought into awareness. And, we don't shame ourselves here. I say that a lot, Michael, I get it, but I just want to make sure that we understand. We don't say these things to ourselves. We don't do these investigations into ourselves to find a blame or a shame. We observe them. We ask ourselves, what is this trying to reveal to us? Right? When we have tension, we try to bring patience to it. When we're starting to feel numb, which is another way this manifests for people, we bring compassion to that numbness. We bring awareness to these patterns. This is self-mastery at the deepest level. We don't control this stuff through force, but through understanding and then integration. And I think a lot of people hear this and they realize, well, I thought that was just me being anxious or angry or tired or difficult. How do we help people understand that these body patterns may actually be protective responses and not something wrong with them?
I think that's one of the most important shifts we can have when we start doing this work, because the more we try to judge something, the more we try to push it away, the worse it's going to get. That is one of the strangest paradoxes I've learned in this healing world, is the more you resist, the more it persists. So it's learning to, like you said, we have to accept these parts of ourselves, not criticize it, not judge it, not shame it, not blame it. It's about accepting that this is how we are right now, and we're being willing to work with where we're at instead of trying to force changed behavior. Mm-hmm. So first step is just acceptance, acknowledgement. Mm-hmm. Then comes the shift. Again, you can have all the insight in the world without integrated action. Nothing will change for you. And somatics is one of the best places to start if you have a whole bunch of stored up emotion. We got to be able to move. I know I'm guilty of this. Like, I have, with all the work I've been doing between podcasting, school, work, I have not made enough room for movement. Mm-hmm. But that's something I desperately need in my life to make sure my health is good, to help discharge a lot of the things I've gone through. Mm-hmm. It's so important. Exercise isn't just to get muscle tone and to be in shape. Right. It is to help process the things that are stored within us. What would you say some good practices are to start helping people have this shift?
Well, that's that very simple act of noticing. It matters so much because a lot of us spend years living from the neck up. We don't go any lower than this, man. We stick to here and up. That's where we like to be. Right? So that simple act of noticing is one of the most powerful things we can do. Because when we're up here, we understand our story, we go through it, we understand all this stuff, but we don't know how to move down into the body. Right? And this form of healing asks us to come back into relationship with our body. Right?
Yeah.
And it's going to suck. Let me put it to you this way. Think about somebody that you had a very, very close and loving relationship with, and something broke that off, and you haven't talked to them in 10 years, but now you have to talk to them again, right? For whatever reason. Just imagine that you coming back together. That's going to be the most awkward 2 hours of your entire life, right? You're going to have the same feeling when you come back to your body. If you've been living in here too long, your body's going to be like, where the hell were you? I'm dying down here. Where have you been? Type of thing, right? It still loves you, still faithful to you, but you have to eat a little bit of humble pie when you're moving back into that, right? So it's gonna feel not fun. A lot of this work is not fun sometimes, especially at the beginning, but it gets better, right? But we have to come back into the relationship with our body and not to dominate it, tell it what to do. It's been doing what it's supposed to do, but we have to learn to listen better. Right? And that first step is not, how do I make this stop? The first step is, can I be present with what is here without immediately trying to dismiss it or run away from it again?
We got to be able to create the space we need. We got to be able to, again, the no judgment thing that you brought up earlier is so perfect for this, because it is scary. It is this awkward moment as you start to feel these emotions that you haven't felt in years, to create the space for them to come up without judgment and to acknowledge them, to embrace them. There's nothing more important when processing emotions than to accept them and allow them.
Right. Yeah, and the movement thing is very, very important too. You don't see a lot of people who move a lot as stressed out as people who sit a lot. Just there's something to that, right?
Yeah.
Because our bodies were designed to complete these stress cycles. Think like this: danger appears, the body prepares to act. But when we can't act, when we freeze or suppress that or swallow it or hold on to that activation, never fully discharges. It stays in the system as pressure. So, sometimes, again, this is not a quiet thing. It could be a dramatic thing too, right? You might actually have to go to a doctor and get in trouble, and then
Yep.
get into a new way of living, moving and eating and all this stuff. So somatic healing is a good way of starting that process, I think. I might actually find a place local and just do a few sessions. I have never done any, and I don't know if I need them or not, but who cares? I won't die, right? I'm just go see what it is. Maybe our friends at Saluna can do a class like that. That'd be a good class for them to do.
Yeah. And there's practices you can do at home. One of the things I do, as silly as it is if I got a lot of anxiety going on, I'll go lay in bed and I'm just going to shake. I'm going to allow my body to just tremor. And it's like this discharge. Breath work also helps, bringing the nervous system back to baseline. A fun thing you could do is go to a break room. Go break a bunch of crap.
Yeah. We lost ours down here in the Springs. They shut it down.
Dang.
They shut it down. Yeah. I had a lot of stuff I wanted to donate to them, so I think people can go break stuff. They let me in and smash some things. Yeah, don't smash your stuff for your house.
Yeah, go to a controlled environment.
Yeah. This might irritate some of our listeners, but it is what it is. I used to go out to the gun range and shoot. And that stuff. That was a way of releasing for me. But so basically, what I want people to understand here that this type of work, this type of body healing, is also part of our spiritual path. The body is part of that temple, right? The breath is part of our disciplines, our practices. Their nervous system is a part of that too, and our nervous system needs healing. If we're going to be transformed, Michael, and healed, it can't just live up here. It has to go down to the tips of our toes and back up to our head, right? The whole body, the whole mind, the whole spirit, the whole heart. So it has to reach the places where we've been neglecting, and we have to be honest about that. I've been brought to my senses as of late, and I won't go too much into it, but I am potentially paying a huge price for neglecting my body. So part of this episode is me begging you guys to not do that. I don't want you to end up like me. I want you to pray for me because I'm having some potential heart issues, which, scare me. It scares me because, when your heart goes out, then you are dead, usually, right? So, and I'm not ready to be dead yet. So
give it a few years with science advancement.
But anyways, this episode is Michael's way of calling me out, I think, but in a good way, because I haven't been very kind to my body. So we need to remember that this is about embodiment and alignment. And that's not just some technique. We got to come home to ourselves, back to relationship with the things we've been avoiding, right? Like I need to stop treating my body like it's something to overcome and start treating it like it's part of everything, and it is. So
yeah,
your body. If you've been neglecting your body like I have, your body has been waiting patiently for us to come back to it. It's been waiting for our breath. It's been waiting for our awareness. It's been waiting for our permission and our help to release and get better. So yeah, that's really what I want to leave people with today. You know, I mean, don't ignore the signs. I did. I ignored a lot of the signs and symptoms, and it's a lot more than how we live and what we eat. There's a lot more to it, and this somatic healing is a good way to put us back on that road to recovery, as it were.
This discharge and as an outlet. For exercise today, find somewhere you can go where you won't be interrupted. Your car, a room, outside. And just take 3 slow, deep breaths. On the exhale, make a sound. Whatever comes, a sigh, a groan, a loud exhale through the mouth. Don't perform it. Just let the sound carry something out. Do this 3 times, and then sit with what you notice in your body. Not your thoughts about it, just the sensations. If something shifts, let it. If nothing happens, that's information too. The important part is you're learning how to bring emotions up and how to release them. And so as you evolve this process, the more you practice this, get louder with it, get more deliberate with it. The more you're in a safe space, the more comfortable you might be to do something like scream or yell, curse at the world, whatever it is you need to do to start releasing this pent-up energy.
Yeah, right? It could be something simple like that. Or it could be like more like a hum. Just let it come naturally. Just let it come naturally. It releases a lot. It is a good release technique.
Yeah. For affirmations today, my body is not my enemy. It has been trying to protect me. I give myself permission to feel what I have been carrying. Healing happens in my body, not just in my mind. I am learning to complete what was once impossible to finish. Safety is not something I have to earn. It is something I am building one breath at a time. For our journaling prompts. Where in your body do you notice the most tension or discomfort? What might that part of you have been holding? And for how long? Think of a reaction you've had recently that felt bigger than the moment deserved. What older feeling might have been underneath it? What would it feel like to live in a body that didn't feel braced all the time? What would be different about your day, your relationships, your sense of yourself? If this episode helped you today, give it a like, subscribe. These things help us out so much. Also, share it with someone you think it could benefit. Also, find us on all the socials, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the best website ever,
newashla.com.
With love and gratitude, ad lucem.
Ad lucem.